Hey everybody, JC here. Happy Saturday afternoon. It's 12:45 here in Porter, Texas. I'm about to go to Conroe to go visit with my daughter and her boyfriend and have lunch with them. I've already got the address for the restaurant entered into the navigation. So all I got to do is push this little blue button and we'll be on our way. Let's go. All right, pulling out of my driveway, get by my brother-in-law's truck and my neighbor's sedan, wave at the neighbors. Beautiful day. What a day for a bike ride. Good for them. So it is 82 degrees here in the greater Houston metropolitan area. So it is February 2nd, and we are enjoying an 82 degree day, no humidity, blue skies, no clouds. I mean, it's just perfect. Absolutely perfect. And apologies, I think I just said Saturday afternoon. It's Sunday afternoon. I'm still a little beat up after yesterday doing so much traveling. Yeah, I did literally 4 hours of driving yesterday. Or I didn't drive. FSD did the driving, but I did 4 hours of riding with my family. All right, did a great job there of getting in between the car parked to the right and the oncoming traffic with the bike rider. But yeah, I did about 4 hours of driving. We went all the way down to Sugar Land for my nephew's engagement party, tea ceremony. Went to his parents' house and then over to her parents' house and did the official Vietnamese tea ceremony. So that was really cool. Then came on back to Porter. And then took my son to the airport so that he could fly back to San Diego to the Marine Corps Air Station base there in Miramar. And then needed to go out to my wife's family restaurant and boba shop last night to drop off some stuff for her that she needed to give to a couple of other people in our family that had gotten brought back from Vietnam by my mother-in-law. So a lot of driving yesterday. And so, yeah, apologies about that. I got my days mixed up. This is Sunday afternoon at 12:45. Well, technically now it's 12:52, but all right, just making our way out of the neighborhood now. Yeah, just a gorgeous day. Absolutely gorgeous. So yeah, gonna go see my daughter up in Conroe. She lives up in the Conroe area, and so every once in a while we'll try to meet up for lunch, and I generally try to get up there to meet her. Go into a restaurant I've never been to before, never even heard of it, but I don't know as much about Conroe as I do this area of Northeast Houston. So Conroe is a city of its own. So I'd say Conroe is about, let me see. Conroe's probably about 60 or 70 miles north of Houston. It is not considered part of the greater Houston metropolitan area, although a lot of people do commute from Conroe into Houston for work every day. But I would say Conroe is a bit more laid back, I wouldn't necessarily say touristy, but it's got, you know, it's got a big lake, Lake Conroe. It's one of the biggest lakes in the state of Texas. And so a lot of people will go out there to do some fishing, boating. Really nice lake. All right, I'm going to concentrate on the railroad intersection here for a second, because we have quite a lot of traffic going through this intersection. So I want to make sure we're doing everything we should. All right, we got a stop sign here. We had a little bit, so let's see how we handle this. We've got a lot of folks in queue, as you can see, to get over the railroad tracks. That's where we're going. We're taking a left to get over the railroad tracks, but we also have a lane of traffic in front of us that's also trying to either get across or make a right turn of their own over the railroad tracks. So we're just kind of at a standstill right now. So I'll narrate it, but let me kind of concentrate on that a bit. All right, we got traffic coming through as well. They obviously have the right of way. Okay, vehicles coming through. That car right there took their turn too early. That's okay. We adjusted to that. The black car that we just went around, it was our turn before theirs, but they got impatient and just kept going. I can understand that. Folks get pretty impatient at this intersection when it gets congested like that. Another great attribute of FSD is the software does not get impatient. All right, starting to move up. Go over the railroad tracks. And good, we get completely over the railroad tracks. All right, we are going to be taking a left here at the intersection of 494 and Knox Road here at the railroad intersection. As you can see, the traffic on 494 has the right of way. They do not have a stoplight or stop sign. We do, as does the traffic directly ahead of us. And as you can see, folks can get a little confused here. All right, we're moving up. They're moving through. Let's see. Okay, they're moving on through. They have the right, the Tahoe, the lady there has the right of way. The traffic behind her has the right of way. So we're just going to have to wait for this traffic to move through. Oh, Lord, that could have been not good right there. That vehicle directly in front of us that just went across, that was ill-advised. That could have ended up really badly. All right, we still have traffic moving through on 494. Yeah, this is just a tough intersection right here. Let's see. There's gonna, I think he's letting us through, and I'm gonna have to intervene. All right, so I had an intervention there. That person, they did not have to give us that gap because they don't have a stoplight or a stop sign. And so I needed to intervene in order to do something that the vehicle technically shouldn't have done, which is, but he was being nice. He obviously knows that we're all getting backed up over there. They need to get that traffic light going. There have been times where at that intersection that we have accepted that courtesy gap that they do not have to give to us. So it just creates a lot of confusion. So quite understandable. We made it all the way through that intersection, but I did need to give it a quick accelerator boost to let it know it was okay to go in front of that. I don't know if that was a van or an SUV, even though technically that van or SUV that was to our right had the right of way. They could have kept going. All right, we got oncoming traffic here on the feeder. We take our gap. Great job. Don't know if we're going to make it over, and we are not. Yep. So we did not make it. We were trying to make it to 59 Eastex Freeway going northbound there, but there were just too many vehicles coming up behind us, and so just couldn't do it. That is absolutely fine. So what we're going to do now is we are just going to take the feeder along 59 Eastex Freeway up to Highway 99. So we were going to get on Highway 99 off of 59 Eastex Freeway anyway. So not being able to get up on the freeway, what that's going to cost us is there's at least one, I'm trying to remember if there's two, but there's a traffic light up here. And so that's essentially what it costs you if you can't get all the way over to get up on 59 Eastex Freeway, is that you're going to have to ride the feeder and go through at least one traffic light. So not a big issue. And quite frankly, it should not have tried to get on 59. There were vehicles to our driver's side rear, and that would have definitely caused a commotion had we just tried to connect. And it's not something you can speed up to get into because you have that median coming out. So all you're going to do is run into that median. So you've really just got to be able, that there's such a short distance there between getting onto the feeder and making it all the way over to 59. It's just tough. And so that one, well, actually what are we going to do here? So we are not going all the way up to Highway 99. So since we did not make it up to Highway 99, it is now rerouting to FM 1314. So now that this is going to be the fastest route to go. Interesting. Now let me look at the time that we get there and compare it. Just give me a second to get here. All right. So we're on 1314. Let me compare the time. That's interesting. The time is essentially identical. So it is now showing us getting to the restaurant at around 1:33, and that was pretty, if I remember right, it was probably around 1:30, 1:31. So not losing a lot there, but yeah, obviously being able to get up on a freeway definitely is the most beneficial. But at the end of the day, you don't want to cause a wreck, because that will definitely delay you getting to your destination. All right. So it looks like we're going to be on FM 1314 for a while. In fact, once we get up here to the stoplight, I might take a look at the navigation just to see, since we've been rerouted. I want to wait till we get to the stoplight so that the in-cabin camera doesn't throw fits at me looking. So let me take a look here for a second. All right. So yeah, we are on 13. Yep. We're going to take 1314 pretty much all the way to Conroe. Okay. Well, that's fine with me. All right. This up, get a little swaller. Excuse me there. Yeah, we're going to be on 1314 for about 17 miles. I believe FM 1314 is 4-lane the whole way. So probably not going to be a whole lot of interesting. I mean, obviously anything can happen on the roads at any time, obviously. And we'll be here to film it if it does, but probably not a whole lot. of complexity or anything real interesting. All right, we got a little slowdown here. Not sure what's going on. Well, we got a red light coming up, but it looks like somebody is confused, thinks they want to turn left, but doesn't know for sure. All right. Yeah, so about 16 miles here on 1314. Obviously, unless we get rerouted again. So we have been rerouted twice already in this trip. The first reroute was due to the fact that we could not get up to Highway 59, Eastex Freeway going northbound towards Highway 99. So that was once we were not able to get over and get on that on-ramp, that obviously rerouted us, because then we needed to stay on the feeder. And initially, it was going to just have us take the feeder up to Highway 99. That would have probably been about 3 or 4 miles. Again, at least one traffic light. I think 2. I think there would have been 2 traffic lights. But then it rerouted us to come over here to 1314. And again, the rerouting is, oh, that was nice of the Tundra. The rerouting is whatever creates the fastest, most efficient route. So, at that point in time, that's what the system ascertained. Yeah, so I'm pretty sure FM 1314 stays a 4-lane highway pretty much the entire way. I do not think it goes down to 2-lane. And the only reason I brought that up is I had a really interesting, I had a really nice, interesting comment / question from one of the folks who saw one of my previous videos on YouTube and was asking me, how does FSD do on 2-lane highways? i.e., on a 2-lane highway, you're going to get behind slower traffic. You're going to get behind farm vehicles, large logging trucks, especially here in East Texas. So how does it do with that? Does it know it's okay to get around? Does it know it's okay to get over into the oncoming lane just for a bit in order to get around a slower vehicle and then get directly back over like most humans do? And I thought about it and I was like, man, I'm not sure, because obviously we have a ton of 2-lane highways around East Texas. But I was racking my head to see, have I done it on version 13? And I don't think I have. So I think the last time that I drove anywhere around my vicinity here in Southeast Texas or East Texas, further up in East Texas, and was on a 2-lane highway, 2-lane road, I was still on version 12. And what I remember about it on version 12 is that it was kind of hit or miss. It never did anything unsafe, but I do remember that on version 12, it had no problem just staying behind a slower moving tractor trailer or John Deere tractor that might be going 50 in a 65. It would have no problem staying put there for miles. And then all of a sudden, it would finally, I guess, have all the correct variables, enough of a straightaway, that it would then go ahead and get around. I've seen it. I've definitely had scenarios on version 12 where it would get over into the oncoming lane, get around a slower moving vehicle, and then get directly back over into our lane. So I know FSD does it. I just haven't experienced it on version 13 yet. And I can tell you on version 12, it could do it on its own, but it was kind of hit or miss. And when it did hit, it was like after maybe 3 or 4 miles of drifting behind the slower moving vehicle. So it wasn't like an automatic thing. Now, that being said, in a lot of scenarios where we humans do that on these 2-lane country roads, we don't do it at the right time. Like, you've seen it where people have to do the chicken dance and they get out there, they think it's clear. Oh, we're about to have the right lane closed ahead, so it looks like folks are going to be merging over with us. So let me put a pin in that for a second, just to see what's coming up here and whether we need to, well, I guess it didn't. I don't see any merging of the right lane. Maybe they have that out there for during the week. Maybe they're doing road work during the week, but I don't even see where they would be doing road work around here. Oh well. So, yeah, what I was about to say about humans on 2-lane roads is we do not, for the most part, most people are not very good at that. Most of the time, they can't see very far ahead of because quite frankly, the vehicles that are moving so slow are moving that way because they're huge, because they're large. And so it's very, very difficult for humans to really see clearly in front of that vehicle unless you have just this tremendous straightaway. And I noticed on version 12 it would take those straightaways pretty well, but it wouldn't take something like this where you can see pretty far ahead of you, but it's curving. A lot of humans might do that, and quite frankly, that's ill-advised. Humans get away with it because we have a lot of experience on 2-lane roads, but I'll tell you, although we have a lot of experience driving 2-lane roads, we're not very good at it. And I personally know of some people that are no longer with us today who have lost their lives on 2-lane country roads. And you never truly know, how many folks get into vehicle accidents on the road simply because of doing some ill-advised things on 2-lane roads, right? Or take other people's lives. So I could tell on version 12 it was very hesitant to do it. It literally needed like a mile-long straightaway to do it. Or it was fine because it has no ego, right? And so without that ego, it's like, well, I guess we're just stuck here for the next 15 miles until this tractor trailer gets off the road or makes a right or left turn. And the software's fine with that, right? But as humans, obviously, that can drive us crazy if we're supervising. If we're in the back, we probably, whether we're going 50 or 65 for 17 miles, I mean, it's probably not going to hair lip you if you're in the back and asleep or working on something. But if you're supervising in the front seat, it's obviously going to be a little frustrating. And so I will tell you there that I would normally do non-critical interventions on stuff like that. Just go ahead, disengage, get around the slower. I would give the software maybe a mile or two, and if it was clear to me that the software wasn't taking opportunities, I would just go ahead, disengage, do a non-critical intervention, and just get around the slower moving vehicle and then re-engage. That's what I would say where we were at with version 12. So when I say hit or miss, I would say it was probably good about 25% of the time, and the other 75% of the time you were highly likely disengaging, intervening, a non-critical intervention, obviously, but intervening and just getting around. So it would be interesting to see how it does on version 13. So I may go try and find an opportunity to do that. You know, I need to get out to Beaumont. Again, Beaumont is my original hometown. That's where I was raised, and it's where all my family is buried. It is back in Beaumont. My grandparents, my mom, my uncle, and a lot of my other family. I don't, on my side, my wife has a humongous family, so that's basically my family. I've married and got a new family, but on my side, everybody I grew up with in my house and grew up around have unfortunately passed on to the hither and yon, gone on to be with the Lord. So in a better place. But so yeah, I do get over to Beaumont occasionally. Obviously not enough because I haven't been over there on V13, and the reason why I brought up Beaumont is I would say half of the drive between where I live now and the 100 miles over to Beaumont is little 2-lane country roads. So I ought to do that. All right, we are merging down, or maybe we are going to get a little bit of a 2-lane feel here. Let's see. Well, first we got to be careful with the car on the shoulder. All right, here we go. So we are on a 2-lane now. This is what I'm talking about. This is your typical East Texas, Southeast Texas 2-lane road. Let's see. First, let's see how our speed selection is. So we are in a 55 and we're going 61. So really good speed selection. We're going 61 and a 55. Now there is traffic ahead of us, but we're going 62 and a 55. That's great. Yeah, let's concentrate. That's good. I didn't realize 1314 turned into a 2-lane before getting up here. And interestingly, we've actually shaved a couple of minutes off of our ETA. We are now due to reach the restaurant at 1:31 p.m. I think it was 1:33 a little while back. So maybe, all right, we're slowing down a bit. Now here's there you go. It looks like the Dodge Charger in front of us you see how they're kind of bobbing and weaving there? They're figuring out a good time. That's exactly what I'm talking about. So see, that's typical human behavior. I'm not saying good or bad. That's just typical human behavior right there. They're tailing the truck in front of them that's not going as fast as they would like to go. Just so you know, we are going 60 and a 55 right now. So there's absolutely nothing wrong with what we're doing. But the Dodge Charger obviously wants to go faster. The Dodge Charger wants to go about 70 in a 55. And so they're doing the little bob and weave right now. But as you can see, there's no good opportunity for them. Now here we got a huge straightaway. This is probably a good 3/4 of a mile straightaway, but there's a lot of oncoming traffic. So no opportunity for the Dodge Charger here. So we're getting a really good human psychology lesson right now. Everything I just talked about for the last 10 minutes, now we are getting to see it play out directly in front of us. Let's see how this goes. Awesome. All right. We're definitely slowing down a bit here. It's still 55. But it's understandable we would slow down a bit coming through here because there's businesses and residents, a little bit of a town center, if you will, right there that we just went through. All right, now we're speeding back up as it got more countrified. Now we're going 64 and a 55. So the speed selection is awesome. Speed selection straight, 66 in a 55. All right, we're slowing down a bit. We got the caution yellows for the fire truck. There must be a fire station somewhere close around here. Going under some more caution yellows. Handle those really well. Oh, there it is. There's the fire engine number 66. All right. Now we're getting a little more spread out here. Picking up some speed. Good job. We're going 67 in a 55. Kind of maintaining a pretty healthy gap between us and the vehicles in front of us. We are going 68 in a 55. And that Dodge Charger is still tailing the truck in front of it. So it wants to go faster. It wants to go like 75 or 80. All right. Now, see here, we got a curve. Oh, good on him. So the Dodge Charger did not try to peek out there. Now, we've got the dotted line. He could take an opportunity right now, but you can see there's not a clear there's only about a quarter mile vision in front of him, so he doesn't take it. See, great psychology, but you see him bobbing and we all know what that bob and weave means. That bob and weave is, I want you to know I'm right behind you. I want you to know I want to go faster than you're going, even though you are going the speed limit or faster. I want to go even faster. So I'm just going to bob and weave behind you to let you know. Although I'm not really sure what the truck in front of him, who's going the speed they want to go, which is a perfectly legal speed, 60 and a 55, what the truck's supposed to do, because there's not much of a shoulder over here. All right, we got a traffic light coming up. And the Dodge Charger, all that, and you're going to turn left on Creighton Road. Okay. All of that, and they literally were going to have a left turn in a couple of miles. Human psychology. Human psychology. How much anxiety and just nervousness and fits would FSD have saved that individual right there? Think about that for a second. All that bobbing and weaving, living right off the tail of that Chevy Silverado for about 3 or 4 miles, knowing that you're going to turn left and have to come to a complete stop anyway. And you end up, I'm actually in front of that individual now. I'm actually further ahead in queue in the light. So it's like, how much of all of that human psychology could have been mitigated if that individual just turned on FSD and let the software take care of it? See, the software's here to help us, people. But then again, we would not have had as fun of a conversation as we've had for the last 10 or 15 minutes. Well, maybe not fun for you, but fun for me. All right. Now, our navigation is saying that we've got about 1.25 miles, and then we're going to take a left on Foster Drive. Got some road work signs. It says road work ahead. Okay, we need to stay in this lane. Good job, good lane selection. Did not try to get over into the left lane, because that is a left turn only lane, even though the lane markings barely exist anymore. We are now at the intersection of FM 1314 and Highway 336 in the great state of Texas. And that probably means nothing to 99.99% of you. All right, looks like our light has turned green, so we're going to move through the intersection. Great job. Got the right lane closing ahead, so it looks like we're going to merge back into a 2-lane. Got about a half mile till we turn left. I can tell we're coming into Conroe now. I see the apartment complexes to the left. So yeah, Conroe, probably about 60 or 70 miles north of Houston. And again, it's its own little spot. It is not considered part of the greater Houston area. It's its own place. It's not huge, but it's decent size. And again, a lot of people will come out to Lake Conroe to have a nice weekend on the water. All right, we're coming up to the light at Foster Drive. This is where we're going to turn left. We do not have a dedicated left turning lane, so we are going to need to defer to the oncoming traffic as they have the right of way. There we go. Let the motorcycle through. We make our left turn. Great job. All right, we're going to be on this road for the next 1.5 miles. This does not even have any lane marking. So we're on another 2-lane little country road. This one does not even have lane markings on it though. Let's see how we do around here. Got some more single family homes to the left and right of us. Got an elementary school. We got a 4-way stop coming up. All right, come to a complete and total stop. No other vehicles at the intersection. We continue on through. Got a 30-mile-per-hour speed zone through here. We are going 39-40. Looks like we're going along with traffic. You can see the vehicle in front of us and the vehicle in front of that. And we're maintaining a nice healthy gap. Doing some construction of something. Nice big building over there to the left. Some residences to the right. All right, we have another 4-way stop. Move on up, come to a complete stop. Nobody at the intersection. We move forward. Great job. All right, another 4-way stop. I told you we love our 4-way stops in the state of Texas. All right. Complete and total stop. Move on through. Nobody else at the intersection. Got a little bit of lane marking back now. We are going 40 miles per hour in a 30-mile-per-hour zone, going along with traffic. You can see we are maintaining a nice healthy gap between us and the vehicles in front of us. I suspect most people don't go 30 through here based on what I'm seeing, how the software is adapting to it and the vehicles, the traffic around us. All right, we got some railroad tracks we're about to go over. All right, crossing over the railroad tracks. We have a stop sign up here. We're going to turn right, but we got to creep up a little bit to get better visibility. We have a car oncoming. They go. We should have a gap. There we go. Great job. All right, Navigation shows us being on this road, which is Hicks Street, for the next mile or so. Yeah, 1.1 miles. Now we are in Conroe now. All right, we got a stoplight. Get a swallow. Oh. Yeah, so it looks like we're about a mile away from the restaurant where I'm meeting my daughter and her boyfriend. We said 1:30. It is 1:29 p.m., so I'm probably going to be just a couple of minutes late. Hopefully she doesn't get mad at me. Guess I'm going to have to pay for lunch. I like that wasn't going to happen. There you go. Welcome to Conroe. All right, we've got a car coming in hot there out of the gas station. We get over to the left. Thank you, Tesla FSD. Let's just stick over here. So it looks like we're going to go up about another half mile, and then it shows us doing a U-turn. So the restaurant, I suspect, well, I don't know what to suspect, maybe on the left-hand side, and we have to do a U-turn to get into the parking lot. We will see. All right, the truck in front of us getting over into the left median turn-in lane. Got a traffic light coming up here. We keep the green, continue moving on through. Got a little bump there. All right. We're moving over to the right. Got a truck pretty much stopped right in front of us. Do really good with that. All right, we're going underneath the bridge. And it looks like we are going to turn right here at Hicks. Ooh, that was tight. I don't know how you turn it. So we did not do that. Yeah, that was, I don't know how in the world. That was just too tight right there. So we are redirecting, and I agree with that redirection. There was no way that we were going to be able to make that right. That was just way too sharp. Way too sharp. I don't know how anybody does that. So we have rerouted here. And again, it didn't add any distance because we're just doing a box around it. But originally had us taking that really sharp right there to go to the restaurant. I was like, if it tries to take this right, it's going to have to do about a 5 or 7 point turn. And instead of doing a 5 or 7 point turn in traffic, it just decided to go ahead and let's go do a box, a right and a right and a right. And I am perfectly good with that. All right, we're coming up, should be coming up on the restaurant here pretty soon. It's like it should be over to our right. And there it is, Honor Cafe. All right, we're going to curve around to the right here. Looks like we got a pretty packed parking lot. Let's see how we do in the parking lot. Whoo, this is packed. I may just end up dropping us off. Let's see. That's going to keep going. How are y'all doing? It's going to try to find something, but there ain't much. Yep, it's going to give up right here. So I'm going to go ahead and shut it. And there it is. There's the door to it. So I'm going to go ahead and find a parking spot, and we will go inside and have lunch with my daughter. All right, everybody. Talk to y'all in a little while. Bye. Hey, everybody. JC here. Just got done having lunch with my daughter Zoe back in the Tesla. It is about 2:30 in the afternoon here on Sunday afternoon. Gonna make one more stop. I'm actually gonna go see Sin, my brother-in-law, in his physical therapy rehab center. It's actually only about 9 miles from here, so I figured since I was over in Conroe, I'd just go due south to the Woodlands, drop off some clothes for him, pick up his dirties, bring him a little bit of food. So let's get on the road. I've already got the destination. I put it into my iPhone while I was in the restaurant, and then I sent it from my iPhone to my Tesla, so never had to touch anything. So it's already in there. All we got to do is push the little blue button and we'll be on our way. Let's go. All right, put on the rear camera. Pulling out of the parking spot here at the Honor Cafe. Great lunch. Talk about that here in a second. All right. Pulling up to the exit of the parking lot. I don't see any oncoming vehicles. Make our left turn. Great job. Gonna head into the heart of Conroe here. Nice little town. Like I said, Conroe is definitely a little bit slower vibe than Houston. Really nice town. All right, we're going to take a left here at the four-way stop. Nobody else at the intersection. We make our left. Great job. We got another four-way stop coming up here. Come to a complete stop. No other cars at the intersection. We go. All right. Make a left here. And we're going to come to the stoplight, and we will continue on through once the light turns green. Yeah, Conroe is a nice little town. Like I said, it's small. It's a little slower. Not the people, but just the lifestyle. It's definitely a bit of a slower vibe here. My daughter really loves it up here. She's doing good. Her job's going well. Talked about what she wants to do in the future. She's 21 years old, so still got some figuring to do, as they say. But nothing wrong with that, as long as she's gainfully employed. And oh, sounds like there's a bug in here. I don't know what that was. Sounded like there was like a fly right near my ear. Sorry about that. All right, we're going to come up to the stoplight here. Looks like we're going to turn left, so we're getting into the left turning lane. Yeah, it was. Oh Lord, it is not a fly, that's a bee. So we're going to be a little extra careful. All right, we got a yellow caution on the left turn. We don't have anybody coming, so we take it. Great job. We're going to come up to the four-way stop here. We're going to take a right turn. We got to come to a complete stop first. All right. Make our right turn. Great job. And then this is going to curve around and become the feeder for Interstate 45, I-45, and we will be going southbound on I-45. All right, we're curving around underneath the bridge. Should be joining up with the feeder here soon. We got some pedestrians on foot. Well, that's kind of redundant. By default, pedestrians are on foot, i.e. the PETA young couple right there. All right, Looks like we got a 4-way stop, or actually I should say a 3-way stop. Coming up right here, we'll take a left turn at the 3-way stop. Nobody else at the intersection, we go. Or actually there was one other vehicle, but we got there before they did. All right, we got a stop sign prior to getting on the feeder. We are looking at the feeder now. Gonna inch up a little bit, look for oncoming traffic. There is a big enough gap. We take our turn, great job. And now we are going to move our way over to the left so that we can get up on I-45 southbound. And we have a lot more room to play with this go around than we did trying to get on 59 Eastex. All right, we are on the on-ramp for 45. We'll see what sort of merging we need to do here. Tap the brakes just a little bit. Looks like we're going to merge in behind this vehicle right here. We do. Great job. Move over to the left again. In between the Santa Fe and that other vehicle. Keep moving to the left. Get in behind the Santa Fe. Got vehicles coming up to our left. They pass on through. Then we get on over. Great job. So now we are firmly on I-45 going southbound. Excuse me. We will be on I-45 for 6 miles. Yeah, there's a bee in my car. Let me see if I can get it out. Did it go out? Yep. Perfect. Sorry about that noise. I had to put my window down just a little bit to get that bee out of here. But it went. Thank God I'm not allergic to them. Yeah, I've been stung enough by them. Pretty tough to be an active duty Marine for 6 years as a grunt in the field and be allergic to bees and whatnot. So fortunately I don't have that issue, but it's still a pain in the butt. You don't want to be stung by one of them. Excuse me. All right. And it just continues to be a gorgeous. Sorry. Just having lunch and then talking. Yeah, it's my bad. Y'all know how much I like to yak. All right, so interesting. Let me see. So, let me put a pin in that a second because I want to make sure that I don't misspeak here. So they have an HOV lane here on 45, but it doesn't look like it is cordoned off with a concrete barrier. So maybe it's not a Houston thing. Maybe it's just 59 Eastex Freeway. So you see the HOV lane right next to us, which we obviously didn't get up on. But it's not barricaded off like, you see the barricade in between, obviously. But on Eastex, on 59 Eastex Freeway, there'd be a barricade right there, right beside us. So maybe that's just an Eastex Freeway thing. I wish they'd get rid of that barricade on 59. But yeah, see, same rules, 2+, no EV affiliation with it. So, but obviously, as you can see right now, not really much of a need for an HOV. We're going along pretty good, although not as good as they are. We're going 80 and a 65. They're likely doing about 85 to 90 right now, but welcome to Houston. Welcome to Texas. All right, we're going to be on 45 for about 2 more miles until we get to our exit. And and head over to see my brother-in-law. One other thing I did, because I kind of know the parking lot at his physical therapy rehab center, and it does show the parking lot on Google Maps as well as Tesla Nav. I've tried to do a manual pin in the parking lot to see if it will take me to go park in the parking lot versus just taking me to the front of the rehab center. So we're going to try it. May not work. We'll see. Worst case scenario, if it takes me to the front of the rehab center or just drops me off in the parking lot, we can try to set pins again. You've seen me do it before. I don't have a problem playing around with the system and setting multiple pins. We're just going to try to get this thing to park us. All right, about another half mile. So we've got 2 more lanes we need to get over. Looks like it wants to get ahead of this Kia first. Put on our right blinker, speed up, get around that Kia. There we go. But we've got, actually, I'm sorry, we've got 2 lanes of traffic, and we need to do it pretty quick. All right, you gonna make it? And it made it. It literally had 0 feet left. We had nothing left on that one, but we made it. All right. We're on the feeder now. We're going to start moving our way over to the right. There we go. Got our blinker on again. And there we go. And we should be coming up on his rehab center in about a quarter mile, maybe a little less. Yep, I see it right there. All right, let's see how we do here. Did I drop? You know what? I screwed up on that pin. I screwed up on that pin. It took us to this. I'm in the parking lot. All right, so let me encompass. And we're just gonna have to. Then we'll do it from there. There we go. Where's the encompass? I had it in here. Yep, that's what happens sometimes when you try to set pins. Is it's right over there, but when you don't really know I thought I set it in their parking lot far enough away from the front, but obviously I did not. All right, we're going to put our right blinker on. Nobody coming, so we should be good. All right, we're going to get right back on the feeder. Let's see if we can do this. A lot of traffic on the feeder right now. I'll be here for a second. All right, got a gap. We take it. That was my bad, folks. There we go. Wrong parking lot. All right, now I'm just going to see what, let it do its thing. Where are we going there? It's trying to figure its way around in the parking lot here. All right. I may have to, I'll set a manual pin for inside this parking lot. Yeah, I think it's just going to drop us off here. There we go. So let me end trip, navigate, and let me try and set a pin. How about right over here? Give it a shot. Nope. So we're going to try this again. Let's go straight ahead. We'll just park straight ahead of us. How about that? No, it's not going to do it. So I'm going to go ahead and get us parked. Like, people are like, what the heck is this guy doing? So I'm going to go ahead and get us parked. Wouldn't do it. It just get, this parking lot is just not FSD ready, I guess. So let me go get parked, go in and see my brother-in-law, take care of him, and then I will see y'all in a little bit. All right, everybody. Bye. Hey, everybody. JC back in the Tesla again. It is 3:45 on Sunday afternoon. Just got done visiting with my brother-in-law, dropping off some clean clothes for him, taking his dirty drawers, and bringing him some food and walking around the outside of the facility with him. It was such a beautiful day. I was like, dude, you need to get in that wheelchair and let's roll you around. So, yeah. So all done here and ready to head on home. We'll talk about that a little bit once we get along the way. So I've already got my home in the Tesla navigation. All I need to do is touch the little blue button and we will be on our way. All right, got the rear camera on. Didn't hesitate much on that one. Interesting. Oh, we're backing out of the parking spot. Take a right turn to get up to the feeder. Got a speed bump. There you go. Thank God. I thought it was about to run roughshod into that speed bump, but it stopped right there. Perfect. All right, we're coming up to the feeder of I-45 going southbound. We do have some oncoming traffic, so we're gonna have to wait a little bit. We creep up a little more, but there is a lot of cars. Just have to wait a little bit. Yeah, we still got quite a bit of cars coming, so it's going to be a little bit. It's going to be a minute. Get a swallow of this while we're waiting. Oh, and there we go. We got a gap. We take it. Couldn't even put my drink down. Great job. Yeah, we found that gap and we got in it. All right, looks like we're going to ride the feeder here for about 1.5 miles. Or actually, we may get up on the highway. If we get up here and we get stopped at the traffic light, I'm going to take a look at our navigation real quick just to see which way we're headed back. Yep, we're going to get the... Actually, kind of happy we get the stoplight so I can take a look. Until we get to a stop. Nice Model 3 there in front of us. All right, let's take a look. So we're going southbound. So we're going to go 45 south to Highway 99 and take all right, perfect. I got you. All right. So we are actually gonna get up on 45 South, and we'll probably take that for a couple of miles, and then we'll take Highway 99 eastbound towards Porter, Texas. All right, yeah, I had a nice visit with my brother-in-law. He's doing good. He's still in a lot of pain. That back surgery really did a doozy on him. And he's not in as much pain as he was last Thursday when we picked him up, but he's not walking at all yet. So he's still pretty much either in his wheelchair or in the bed at this point. No walking around at all, and obviously needs help for just about everything. But that's what they have these facilities for. But he definitely is not in the amount of pain he was in 3 days ago. He was grimacing most of the drive when I took him from the hospital to the rehab facility. I didn't see him grimacing, but he said he's still like, it's too much pain to try to get up out of bed or the wheelchair. So hopefully when I come back and visit him next time, he's at least able to stand up and walk around his room a little bit, but he is not there yet. So yeah, what I'm going to try to do is every 2 to 3 days come out here and check on him. He's probably going to be here for a good couple of weeks. The last surgery he had, he was there for 10 days. And I'm thinking he's at least going to have that, probably more like 2 weeks. So my guess is they're probably not going to be comfortable letting him go home until at least he could stand up on his own and obviously take care of himself in the restroom. I think those are probably the two main things. But once we got him there, we probably could get him home. It may just need some home health care every once in a while, have somebody come by. We'll have to see what his insurance covers on that. All right, we're getting over to get up on I-45 southbound. There we go, we're on the on-ramp. Speeding up a bit. Get over to the left. Yep, we are going to be on I-45 south for about 2 miles. Continuing to move over to the left. So is everybody else. So we continue to do the same. Man, it's just so smooth. I mean, on the highway, it's just, I'm really, really, really impressed with how version 13.2.2 does in the belly of the highway, just maneuvering around here. Really good. Well, we got about another 1.25 miles till we get to our exit for Highway 99. We're going doggone 80 miles an hour, and those folks are booking it. I told you, man, look at this. We're going literally 80 miles an hour, 78. And you see the traffic to our left just bolting by us. Welcome to H-Town. Welcome to Texas. All right. Starting to make our way to the right so that we can get off on the Highway 99 exit. Oh, had a little rock chip, little chip hit us. All right, getting over one more lane. Got about a 1/4 mile. Here we go. There's our exit. Got a right blinker on. Get off. And let's see what we're getting over in the middle lane here on the feeder. And it looks like we'll be on the feeder for a couple of miles. Yep. And then we will take a left onto Highway 99 going eastbound. Get another swallow here. Yeah, so got a chance to just wheel my brother-in-law around on the grounds of the facility. They got a nice little facility there. So it's your typical one story, flat laid out rehab facility. Just one story. Got a swimming pool in the middle, which he can't use yet, but hopefully soon, where they do a bunch of their rehab procedures. But in the middle and around the back of the facility, some really beautiful grounds there too. Nice foliage, little gazebos. So went around there a bit too. But yeah, it's good seeing him. Definitely good to see him looking better than he did on Thursday, because he looked rough. He looked like he had a back surgery on Thursday. All right. About 3/4 of a mile more here along the feeder. We should be trying to make our way over to the left, I believe, though, in order to turn left on Highway 99. So we'll just see how we do here. We got a little bit of congestion, too. So we need to probably think about making some moves here, making some money moves. Yep, there we go. Put on the left blinker. Make a move to the middle. And there we go again. Put on the left blinker. Watch out for that motorcycle. And we're good to go. There we go. All right, we're coming up to the stoplight at the intersection of 45 and Highway 99, the Grand Parkway. We will, once the light turns green, we'll go underneath the bridge, take a left at the next light, and then we will be getting on Highway 99. And I think we'll be there for a good 15 miles. Pretty sure. We'll see once we get going there, but I think it's going to be about 15 or 20 miles that we'll be on Highway 99. Got a Harley Davidson over there. Nice. I got the green light. Got our left blinker on. Stay in our lane. Let's definitely be careful to stay in our lane. We got that motorcycle. Give those people a wide berth. There we go. Stay all the way over here in the far lane. Got another traffic light here at the intersection of 45 and Grand Parkway. And once that light turns green, we will then head on to Highway 99. So yeah, good lunch today with my daughter. Good visit with my brother-in-law. Just a nice Sunday all around. All right, we're merging over. We raced ahead of everybody so we could get over here. Good job. So it wasn't a lot of merging to do, seeing that we raced ahead of. Now we do need to merge right here, but nobody in the far right lane, so that's good to go. All right. And we are going to be, it's only about 11 miles, so not too far. All right, we are firmly on Highway 99. So since we're going to be on the the highway for. We've got about 20 to 25 minutes for this trip. I know that the last time that I did an FSD drive that was a little longer in nature and didn't have family inside the car, I had done a couple of parts on the Tesla Q4 earnings release. So I think I had one part, the first part that was on the financial reporting impacts of the Q4 earnings release, how that, actually I think I've done 3 parts. So I did one where it's like the financial reporting process itself, not very Tesla specific, just kind of explain what earnings releases are and how they're done, why they're done, all that sort of stuff. And then the second part, I went into what happened with Tesla from the historical business and what's going on with their EV production, deliveries, and sales. We talked about the overall car market and how China has transformed itself over the last 30 years into basically being the auto market in the world, and that used to be the U.S. Whatever the U.S. car buyer decided, that's how the world went. And we talked about how that equation has just been completely turned on its head. Now it's definitely geared more towards China, and it's geared towards EVs. But the EV market in China is just uber competitive. And so, you know, Tesla's got some headwinds here in the US. They've also got headwinds in China when it comes to EV sales, because like I said, it's very, very competitive. I mean, don't get me wrong, like I mentioned to you before, 130,000 orders of the new Tesla Model Y in 16 days in one country. That is literally a full month of global Tesla sales of everything. Model Y, S, X, 3, Cybertruck, all of it. That's for one car in one country in half a month. So, yeah, don't cry for Tesla. Let's put it this way. I know that I've said some fairly, I don't know, you call them not downtrodden, but just giving you some facts, you know, on a little bit of the pessimism, you know, the fact that Tesla was flat year over year. But don't cry. I mean, at the end of the day, as EVs go, so goes Tesla, because they technically are the EV market for the United States. As they go, so goes everyone else. But it is their historical business. And I mentioned to you that the biggest part of that earnings call was not about what happened in the historical business for 2024, but what's about to happen. What's already happening, but what's going to become more and more evident to a lot of people is that we are at a point of inflection in human history around autonomy and humanoid robotics. And so in the part 3, I got you up to speed on what Tesla is doing with vehicle autonomy and the headway that they're making there. You know, the biggest positive that Tesla has is they are the only one that is out there doing what's called a generalized autonomous solution. And what I mean by generalized is you could drop my Tesla anywhere. I can go anywhere in the United States right now and I can use FSD. So there are some really great companies doing other things around autonomy, like Waymo, Zoox. I was going to say Cruise, but they don't really exist in the same manner anymore. There's one other that Canoe just went out of business, but probably the main one to talk about is Waymo. And Waymo's got a really good situation too. Theirs is not generalized though. Theirs is geo-fenced with a bunch of expensive LiDAR equipment that is, at this point, geo-fenced to a couple of cities in the country. Whereas the positives for Tesla is it's generalized. So it's like, it's much less expensive hardware, and you can put it anywhere in the country. Now, you might ask, well, what is the positive for Waymo? Well, the positive for Waymo is they literally don't have a driver right now. So we're talking about autonomy. And as you can see, I still have to sit here and supervise. And I'm needed to supervise with this current version from time to time. Like you've seen, about every 1,000 miles or so right now, I'm having to do an intervention, a critical intervention, I should say, one that's absolutely necessary, not parking and all that stupid crap. I'm talking about an actual necessary intervention, what we call critical interventions. Those are still coming about once every 1,000 miles. So Waymo's got that. Now, the one thing I will remind everybody of is Waymo also has something that Tesla doesn't use, and those are called teleoperators. So I don't know if y'all know this or not, but Waymo uses teleoperators in a remote call room to help get their vehicles around. And from some of the best minds and folks that are pretty much in the know on this, there are folks that are pretty sure there's at least one teleoperator per vehicle. Not obviously operating the vehicle all the time, but the amount of teleoperators they have is at least 1-to-1. So if you think about me as a teleoperator, I'm like a teleoperator on steroids. So the only difference between Waymo's teleoperator and me is their teleoperator sits in a remote room somewhere, and they can be ready for many different vehicles at any point in time. I, on the other hand, as a teleoperator, I sit in the car. So that's really the best way to look at it, is just because Waymo doesn't have somebody sitting in the driver's seat, it's not that they're not self-driven. They are getting teleoperated. And so if you're wanting to do apples to apples or oranges to oranges between Tesla and Waymo, think of me as a teleoperator. So any of you that have been watching my videos for the last few weeks over and over again, you'll notice if you take away parking, I almost seldom have to intervene, right? Like I said, about once every 1,000 miles right now. And hopefully the next few releases of version 13 even ups that. But that's probably the best way. If you really want to do apples and apples, is I'm a teleoperator. The difference between me as a teleoperator and the Waymo teleoperator is I'm actually sitting in the driver's seat of one vehicle versus sitting in a remote call room. But make no mistakes about it, Waymo has a worse ratio of teleoperators to cars than Tesla does. It's just a different way that they deploy them. So yeah, so that's kind of where we're at right now with autonomy. But I also went through where Tesla is going with it. So they are going to have a robo-taxi service in Austin, Texas. And I told you it was going to be Texas. And it's, a lot of it's because it is Texas, right? We don't have a very hardcore regulatory environment here in Texas. And so getting something like that through was probably not that difficult. So we talked about all that. And I'm telling you, once it's rolled out here in Texas, it's going to continue to get rolled out here in Texas. go to more cities, Houston and Dallas, where it's even easier environment than Austin. And it's just going to work. And you know what happens when something works and it's at least a half cheaper than Uber or Lyft? You know exactly what's going to happen. You already know it. It's just going to keep growing. It's going to keep expanding. And it's going to take a little while. And I'm sure some of y'all are sitting there, well, there's no way it might work in my city. Yeah. Probably won't be in your city then first. But it definitely works. It'll work in mine. And my city has about 10 million people in it. And my city of 10 million people doesn't have any sort of regulatory environment that's going to try to set up. We barely have a taxi cab service in Houston. I can't remember the last time I saw a taxi in this city. So there's just no impediments. So you got 10 million people in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, 10 million people in the greater Houston area. So that's another 20 million people that are going to be exposed as it expands through Texas. And it's going to be in parts of California. And I'm telling you, it's going to work. You know that. Y'all already know that it's going to work. Is it going to be perfect every time? No, that's what teleoperation is for. But that teleoperation is going to be scaled further and further back, and it's just going to work. And it's not going to cost anywhere near what a Waymo or an Uber is going to cost. And here's the other thing. What does Tesla have that Uber and Waymo don't have? Vehicle sales and other parts of their business to subsidize that service. Uber has to make money, Uber and people around. Waymo has to make money, Waymo and people around. Tesla doesn't have to make any money doing it. They can literally subsidize this as much as they want it or as little as they want. They can literally break even on this because they've got all sorts of profits coming from their historical business. This is called disruption. You disrupt yourself. You're going to get disrupted. So Tesla's adage is, we're going to disrupt ourselves. We're not going to let somebody else do it. And that's what they're doing. They know they're going to disrupt their own vehicle sales. It's beautiful. It's absolutely brilliant. And it takes a lot of those issues that we talked about the last time I spoke about this, kind of the animus towards really amping up EV adoption in this country. The fact, like we talked about, China's 50% of their sales, and we're just nowhere near close to that. But this takes that off the table. It makes it irrelevant. Like we were saying, if you don't like the conversation, flip the table. And this is definitely going to flip the table. But I will tell you, the thing that is really going to flip the table is the Optimus humanoid robot. And I wrote a few things, so I just want to make sure. So I don't know how much y'all have seen about humanoid robotics. You know, Tesla is not the only company out there that has prototypes of humanoid robots. There's Figure One. There's a Norwegian. There's a bunch of Chinese companies. So it's not like this is brand new. There are prototypes of humanoid robots out there. But Tesla is also one that has created their own prototype. And they've had it now. They've been iterating on it for, gosh, probably a good solid 3 years now, 2 to 3 years. And theirs is called Optimus. You know where they get the name Optimus from. And it is just, every single time that we see Optimus, it is just doing new and amazingly interesting things. So, where are we at with Optimus? So they announced on the earnings call that by the end of this year, calendar year 2025, they will have produced 10,000 Optimus humanoid robots. The first generation robot. So there's going to be several generations, right? Right now, we are still on the first generation of the Optimus humanoid robot. By the time we get to 2026, they will likely have moved on to the second generation. And in a couple of years after that, they'll be the third. So basically iPhones or Teslas. You're just going to have, new generations come out. So right now, they are still on that first generation Optimus humanoid robot. But they are at the point now where they are confident that they will be in production by the end of this year. Now and so they said 10,000. So let me just say what I think and probably a lot of other folks think. I think they will definitely have Optimus in production, out of prototype and in production in the latter half of 2025. There is absolutely zero doubt in my mind of what I have seen of Optimus to this point. No doubt in my mind. Do I think they'll have 10,000 of them produced by the end of the year? Yeah. No, I don't. So I could see them having my guess would be is they'll probably have about 3,000 to 5,000. But any of y'all that have ever followed Tesla, let me just let the cat out of the bag. Elon makes humongously big, puts stakes on the table. He's like the David Goggins of the technology world. What does David Goggins say? Dream so far out there that what you actually achieve is still 3 times beyond what everybody else does in the world. I'd say I've told that to people before when they get mad at Elon's predictions or I was like, do y'all know who David Goggins is? And they're, oh yeah, I know David. I love that guy. I get motivated. It's like, well, have you ever actually listened to what he says when he's on his runs? Like, what do you mean? It's like, well, he's telling you to do things and make goals that literally seem crazy. And sometimes they are crazy. But the people that really listen to David Goggins and take him to heart and set hard goal and really go after those goals, they may not meet that goal, but where they end up at the end of the day was 5 times better than where they were 6 or 12 months ago. And a lot better than everybody else that's trying to do these little incremental things. So that's what I always tell people is like, when Elon sets his goals or timelines or production numbers, just think of it the same way you would David Goggins. Don't get angry. Getting angry only hurts you. Elon doesn't care if you're angry at his timeline. He just doesn't. So the only person that's going to need Lipitor because you're getting angry at his timelines is you. So just remember, he is like David Goggins. He's going to set these crazy, just way out there goals. And because he has achieved so much of what he said he wanted to do, people are going to be like, well, I trust that. Believe me, the folks within Tesla trust him with everything because they've seen what working for him can do. I mean, it can sell 7 to 8 million Teslas in an environment where literally EVs barely existed before that. It was literally a prototype in somebody's garage. And then 15 years later, he sold 7 to 8 million of them. So that's the guy we're talking about. And he's not going to get to 10,000. If they produce 10,000 by the end of this year, I don't know. I'll do something, but they're not going to do that. So it's probably going to be more like, let's just say 5,000. But they're going to produce them. That's going to happen. And then it's going to get exponential after that. So let's stick with the 10,000 number first, and then we can back off half. If they do 10,000 this year, then they're going to do 100,000 in 26. And then they're going to do 1 million a year in 27. And then they're going to do 10 million a year in 28. And then by the time we get to 2029 and 2030, they'll be doing 100 million Optimus humanoid robots every single year. And you may sit there and go, is there a demand for that many humanoid robots? And then I would ask you, how many human beings are there on Earth? And the answer to that is well over 8 billion. Yes, there is a demand. We're going to talk about all of that. Believe me, there's some sociological characteristics to it. There's some sociological ramifications to it. But let's get this off the table first. There is a war going on in the world right now. A race over AI and humanoid robotics. It is, make no ifs, ands, or buts about it. It's going on right now. As we speak, some of the most sophisticated humanoid robots are being developed and produced in China as we speak. And they're good. They're not as good. They're not all. Some are almost as good or not as good as Optimus, but they're real good. Why do I even bring that up? I bring it up because this is a battle we have to join. I know that there's going to be folks out there that this is just going to, the discussion we're going to have over the next couple of days about humanoid robots is going to scare the living bejesus out of you. And so I don't want you to be, I mean, I can't make you not be scared, right? I don't know what views you have on humanoid robotics. I don't know what your philosophy is on it. But regardless of what your views or philosophy is, the thing you got to know is it's going to happen. Like I said, I had mentioned earlier, none of us are going to get on a boat and sail to Shanghai or Beijing. We're not going to get 20 of us and get off the boat and look at the Chinese government and say, we're here from America. We do not like robotics and we're asking you to stop doing it now, please. They're going to laugh at us, and then we're going to be disappeared. I'm being tongue-in-cheek to say it's happening. It's going to happen. Whether we join the race or not, it's going to happen. And if it's going to happen, we need to be in that race. Because if we don't do it, it's going to happen to us. So what you want is you want American companies involved in this. And the biggest American company involved in humanoid robotics, far and away, is Tesla. The one that's already produced 7 to 8 million robots, that one of which I'm in right now. All right, well, we're going to put a pin in that for a while. Let's see what we do here. Is it going to try to park me? Is my robot going to try to park me? Yes, it is. And it did it perfectly. Awesome. Well, we got to talking about robots and my robot parked me. So yeah, we got on to humanoid robotics pretty briefly. I've got a lot to say about this because I want to be clear about it. I want to give full context around it. I want to give you as much information as possible. So I want to let you know what's actually happening in the world right now and what Tesla is doing. But make no mistake about it. It's already happening. You cannot put that genie back in the bottle. It's done. It's over. It's happening. And they're going to be in our world very soon. So what I want to talk about is, okay, well, if that's happening, then what is Tesla doing in that world? What is their plan? And then finally, let's just get away from Tesla, for example. Okay, great, JC. Tell me what Tesla's doing with humanoid robotics. Tell me how that's going to impact Tesla, and what does that mean for Tesla and the United States. But tell me what this means for me. What is this going to mean for humans 5, 10, 15, 20 years from now? And we are going to go into that as much as I can. As you might imagine, a lot of it's going to be pontification on my part. And a lot of it's going to be predicated on you, how you respond. Sort of like, how does somebody respond if they're a farmer in 1800 to the Industrial Revolution, right? I'm going to leave you with one last thing before I sign out here. In 1800, 95% of our country were farmers. 95%. When you went to an event in 1815, or when you went to a school board meeting, anywhere in 18, you know what they never asked you? Nobody asked you, what do you do for a living? Nobody. That statement never existed back then. You know why? Because everybody, except for 5% of our country, farmed. They just eked out an existence every single day farming. They never went more than 20 miles away from their house. And that's just the way life was. And then the Industrial Revolution took place. And 200 years later, only 2% of our country farms. We went from being 95% farmers to 2%. And most of the occupations today, the biggest employer of occupations today, literally did not exist in 1800. Healthcare. And obviously somebody's going, well, healthcare existed. Yeah, of course there were, but it didn't exist as an industry. Like the healthcare industry, the education industry, and the manufacturing and factories. Those are the big three today. So if you go out there and say, who are the biggest employers of people today? It's four places. Healthcare, the professional managerial class. So if you're a HR director somewhere, or you work in the accounts receivable department at Conroe, or whatever, the professional managerial class. You went to college, got your HR degree, got your marketing degree, got your accounting degree, whatever it was. That's you. Fabrication, manufacturing, and factories. And then finally, the fourth, education. Those four areas employ like 90% of the country. You know what else is common about all four of those? They barely existed in 1800. Like, were there teachers in 1800? Absolutely. Was there a Department of Education in 1800? No. Was there an education industry in it? Hell no. Was there a professional managerial class? Were there HR directors in 1800? Was there a supervisor of accounts receivable and fixed assets in 1800? No. So I think you get where I'm going here. Is that we've done this before, folks. We've done this before. So when people say like, well, we get all of our self-worth from the occupation that we have. And what I would tell you is yeah, for like the last 100 years. Like we didn't do that before. In 1805, if you went to a dinner party, not one I said how many dinner parties you went to in 1805, but you know what I'm saying? If you went into a room full of people in the year 1805, you would never be asked, hey, what do you do for a living? What do you do? Not one person would have ever asked you that. So we did not get the same sort of sociological rectification, if you will, from the individual thing that we did, because we all did the same damn thing. And things are going to change again. We had an industrial revolution between 1800 and 1900. We had an information revolution here over the last 30 years or so, definitely in the last 20. We are about to have an artificial intelligence, humanoid robotics combination revolution in this world. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And highly likely, it is going to be one of the most transformative revolutions in humanity ever. I know I'm sounding melodramatic with that. Like, JC, are you saying this is going to be bigger than the Industrial Revolution? Like you just said, we went from 95% farmers to 2%. How could you be more transformational than that? Well, you can. You can definitely be more transformational than that. But it's going to take some time, and it's going to take some deep, deep, deep critical thinking on our part as a society, but also individually. But it's going to happen. It's happening. And so we need to decide as a society how we want to respond to it, how we want to work around it and create different sorts of infrastructure, different types of human relationships, but also you personally. How do you want to respond to this? Because it is happening. Whether you like my message on what Tesla's doing with it, take Tesla completely out of it. That if Tesla didn't exist, it would still happen. It's not going to happen as fast if Tesla didn't exist, but it would likely still happen. But with a Tesla, this thing's going to happen a lot faster than many of you probably realize. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and sign out. And I promise you, even if it takes me 5 or 6 times, I'm going to get all the way through the Q4 earnings release. But I want to give it the ample time that it deserves. And so we're going to finish out my discussion on humanoid robotics, what that is like, what Tesla is doing, and then finally what I've heard from a lot of experienced people and specialists, as well as my own kind of thoughts on what it means to us as a society. And we'll go into that. And I hope that you have a great rest of your Sunday afternoons, a great rest of your weekend, and that you have a good start to your week tomorrow. All right, everybody, signing out here. You know I love you. JC out. Bye.